Hello, this is Patrick at OneCNC West, and what we're going to do in this training video is start to take a look at creating geometry. This is very simple within OneCNC, and what we're going to do in this video is focus on points, lines, and arcs. Now, we're going to forget about coordinate input at the moment. All we're going to do is just focus on the main methodology for creating geometry. Let's start with points. So I'm going to select point, and as soon as I select point from the main menu, we get our submenu. And notice how there's an option, a submenu option already highlighted for us. That's just the default option. It's same holds true for lines. If I click the line command, you can see there's a line option already selected. If I select the circle command, same thing. You've got your default selected. Now the reason why you can only see the icons within my screen here is because I've limited screen space for my screen capture, but if I drag my screen a little larger here, this is what you're going to see on your system. So as you go into the arc command, you'll definitely have a default arc tool selected for you. Okay, so let's get back to creating geometry. I'm going to head back over here. Let's select point. I'm going to use the default, so I don't need to do anything. I'm just going to move the cursor into the main drawing area. Now as I do that, you'll notice that we're grid snapping. Okay, so if I want to create a point at a grid location, I just left-hand mouse click. Move the cursor, left click, and left click. So what we're doing is we're grid snapping. If you want to see these grid point locations, just come over here and look within the X chord, Y chord, and Z chord fields. You can also look down in the lower left-hand corner where your cursor tracking is. So as I move along here, I'm just left-hand mouse clicking, creating my geometry. Alright, now you can also digitize the datum. Just hover over the datum, and when you see that little square, just left-hand mouse click. Okay, now you can also create geometry at existing geometry locations. So for points, you probably wouldn't want to do this, but if I wanted to create a point exactly at that point location, just take my cursor, hover over, and left-hand mouse click. Now you're probably also noticing too these dashed lines. That means that we have the ability to reference off of existing geometry, which is also very helpful. Alright, now what if you don't want a grid snap? Well, if you don't want a grid snap, just hold the tab key down on the keyboard. As you hold the tab key down, that disables the grid snapping, and it also disables the referencing off of existing geometry. You can see there's no more dashed lines here, so I can left click anywhere that I like. As soon as I let go of the tab key, we're back into grid snapping and referencing off of existing geometry. Very easy. Alright, let's take a look now at creating arcs. I want to delete our points here, so to delete something in OneCNC you need to select it first. So to select everything, we can come up here and grab this tool called Select All Visible Entities, or you can hit Control A, Control Alpha on your keyboard to select everything. That's a standard Windows shortcut. Once that's selected, simply just hit the Delete key on your keyboard to wipe that out. Let's take a look at circles now. Alright, I'm going to again just use the default and just push right into the main area here. Let's make the diameter a little bigger though. I'll make that 1 inch. Same thing happens now. We're default grid snapping, and you can see we're referencing off of existing geometry as well, which is really neat. Alright, I'm going to change the diameter to something smaller. How about a 1/4 inch? Now, when you're creating lines, points, and arcs, you can also create geometry at arc centers. Just take your cursor, wait till you see that little symbol. Once you see that symbol, left-hand mouse click, and that's how you can create geometry at an arc center. It looks like a little diamond that shows up inside there. You can also create geometry along the circumference of existing arcs. So for example, there's 0 degrees, there's 90, there's 180, and there's 270. You can also incrementally move along the circumference and create geometry as well. Okay, let's leave the arcs on the screen and let's take a look at creating some lines now. So I'm going to head back over to the main menu and I'll select line. I'm going to just use the default again. So for lines, when you start left clicking, you're going to notice that you're creating a series of lines. Okay, now to finish this or to terminate that series of lines, all you have to do is right hand mouse click. So let's say I'm finished with that shape. To terminate this, I'm just going to right click. Now I'm still in the line command, so I can continue to create lines. So for example, let's make a line here. I'm going to left click, I'm going to left click, and now to terminate that, I'm going to right click. Let's do that again. We're going to left click, and then to terminate that line, we'll right hand mouse click. Alright, so when creating points, arcs, and lines, you can also create geometry at existing locations. We learned that earlier when we were creating points. So it's never been easier, for example, to join lines. Let's say I want to create a line that starts here and terminates there. It's real simple. Just wait till you see the little symbol there, the little square. Left-hand click, come over here, wait till you see the square, and left-hand click. Now when I'm done with that line, I'm going to right-hand mouse click. Let's make a line now that joins these two. I'm going to left click, left click. I'm done with that, so I'm going to right hand mouse click. I can also create a line that starts at a location and terminates at an arc center. And of course you can create a line that starts and terminates along the circumference. You can also create a line that starts and terminates on a tangency. Just hover over, wait till you see that orange tangency symbol, left hand mouse click, and when you're done, right hand click. Very, very simple to do. You also have the ability to grab midpoints of existing lines. So we can grab this midpoint, just wait till you see the triangle, left click, wait till you see the triangle, and left click. So that's real simple to do as well. Let's make another one of those. I'm going to left click on the midpoint, left click on the midpoint, and when I'm finished we can right hand mouse click. So to sum things up, when we're creating geometry within OneCNC, more specifically points, lines, and arcs, you have the ability to grid snap, you can datum snap, you can grab the arc center, you can grab the circumference along an arc, you can also grab the midpoints of lines, the endpoints of lines, you can create lines that terminate tangent to arcs. It's very, very simple to use. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.